Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, the Avatar Wolf, and we're here with our Week 13 predictions here on the channel. And real quickly, before we get started here, let's just take a look at the predictions last week right here on the channel right now. As you can see, me and Pyre tied in first right now. I believe Ace is right behind us, however, followed by, I believe, Smooth and then Mark. Jeff had a bad week. He didn't get most of his predictions in last week, sadly. So there's that as well. That is why he's 1-14. He only got one prediction in, and that was the Cowboys game, I believe. Sadly. Okay, there we go. Anyways, let's get started here on our predictions and on the games. And let's start with the Thursday night football game that happened last night as the Dallas Cowboys defeated New Orleans Saints 27-17 in New Orleans. Taysom Hill, bad day passing the football. 4 interceptions, only 2 touchdowns. I mean, he tried his best, but the Saints have not looked good ever since they lost Jameis Winston. I think Winston really put the nail in the coffin for the Saints season this year as they dropped to 5-7. I don't see them really making the playoffs, especially if the teams they got to face coming up as soon as well. As for the Cowboys, it is a easy walk-in for the NFC East for the Cowboys as they're 8-4 right now. However, I think Washington is starting to actually somewhat play. Washington, Philly, and the Giants to an extent, all starting to actually play a little bit. So if Dallas, if a team starts sneaking up on Dallas here, taking wins from Dallas here, it could be an interesting NFC East race for the Dallas Cowboys and Washington and Philly. But at the moment, as we're talking about right now, I don't think Dallas really has a shot at losing the division here in the NFL right now. Dallas just is on a roll, ladies and gentlemen. I don't see Dallas stopping anytime soon, and I believe they're gonna easily win the AFC East just like that. And yeah, so that's all I gotta say about this game here. I mean, the Saints are the Saints that we expected to see after losing Jameis Winston. They're just losing. I believe they lost 4 straight. Ever since they lost, 5 straight they've lost after losing Jameis Winston. That's not good. Not good at all. So the Saints are just falling in a deep hole right here, and I don't know if they can actually get out of it. Up next, we got to talk about the bye week teams real quickly. The Panthers, Browns, Packers, Titans. Packers leading the NFC South, I believe. Panthers are in the NFC South as well, I think. No, Panthers are in the NFC South. Packers are in the NFC North. I think Packers have an easy shot at the division as well. I don't see Minnesota really making it. So yeah, those are all the teams on bye week. Titans need this bye week after losing last week to the New England Patriots. I expect big things from these 3 teams here: Packers, Browns, and Titans. I think the Browns actually have a shot at making the playoffs if they keep it up a little bit. I mean, it's a close division in the AFC. Any team can really win that last wildcard spot, or those 3 wildcard spots, really, as it is right now. But let's get into the regular predictions here. Let's go back to the regular games here. We got Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Atlanta Falcons. This should be a wash for Tampa to win this game here. They're already leading the NFC South. Atlanta is behind them at second place right now, but I mean, I just don't see Atlanta really doing anything to stop Tampa. Tampa Bay is the best right now. They're going to sweep the Falcons again. Tom Brady has a good history against the Atlanta Falcons, folks. I don't think he's ever lost to them. So, give me Brady and the Bucs to beat the Falcons. I mean, I know the Falcons, they have nothing really to lose anymore. I mean, a win here against Tampa would be nice for Matt Ryan, but I just don't see it happening. I'm taking Tampa to beat the Atlanta Falcons. Up next, we're at the Cardinals at the Bears. This is going to be an interesting matchup here. I think the Bears are who we thought they were. They are absolute trash. Matt Nagy needs to be fired. He's ruining the potential of Justin Fields. As for the Arizona Cardinals, they exceeded my expectations, ladies and gentlemen. 9-2 this season. They have the best record in the AFC, or in the NFC, and also the AFC. They're the best record in the NFL right now, are the Arizona Cardinals. And going into Chicago should be no different for them. They should easily win this game against the Chicago Bears. I expect a blowout for Arizona to beat the Bears here. I don't see really the Bears keeping up with Arizona at all this season as well. I mean, Arizona right now on the road is 6-0. I don't see that changing anytime soon for Arizona, and I expect them to just wipe the floor with the Chicago Bears, especially with Kyler Murray, who should be he's questionable right now to play. But right now, honestly, I just don't see anything really changing for Arizona. Even without Kyler Murray, they should even just wipe the floor of Chicago, just being honest with you. But Hopkins and Murray, hopefully, they're good for the playoffs when it comes time to it for Arizona. Up next, we have the Los Angeles Chargers at the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, Cincinnati on a good winning streak here. They just went into Pittsburgh and absolutely wiped the floor with the Pittsburgh Steelers, 41-10. As for the Chargers, it's been back and forth weeks. I mean, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win. They can't get a consistent basis, can the Chargers, and I believe Cincinnati has the momentum here going into or being at home against the Chargers here here tonight. Justin Herbert taking on Joe Burrow is going to be an interesting game as well. Justin Herbert, really good quarterback as well. I've seen that there's actually a thing about him actually throwing a 1.5 touchdowns. I'd pick the over on that, ladies and gentlemen. I think Herbert's going to have a good day against Cincinnati. But, however, I don't see Herbert and the Chargers actually stopping Joe Burrow and Jamarcus Chase anytime soon in Cincinnati. Give me the Bengals to beat the Chargers in Cincinnati. I don't see it being anything different here for the Cincinnati Bengals. They should easily win this game against the Chargers. Should not be a problem for them. They've won their last 2 straight. Chargers have been on kind of an inconsistent basis, winning and losing their last 5 games. So give me Cincinnati beat the Chargers. The Chargers haven't been playing their best football as of late. So give me Cincinnati. Up next, we have the Minnesota Vikings at the Detroit Lions. Talking about teams that are not good at football. The Lions in their last 5 straight have 4 losses and 1 tie. As for the Vikings, are coming off a big loss to the San Francisco 49ers last week. That hurts their playoff chances, if we're being honest here. But, I mean, this is a game that Minnesota should easily walk with, right? Like, the Lions, the winless Lions should probably go 16-1 this season, to be honest with you guys. Dan Campbell has been, I want to say he's been a decent coach, but at the same time, when you're running the ball on 3rd and 32 in a game that you must win, I mean, right now for the Lions, every game they play is a must win. They're not going to make the playoffs, ladies and gentlemen. This is just obvious at this point. But you do not want to end the season having a skunk egg as your win record. You do not want to go 0-16-1. Now, I think the Lions blew it when they took on the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think they should have actually won that game. But somehow, someway, they missed the extra point, and that's what happens there, you know? So, I'm going to take Minnesota to beat the Detroit Lions. Minnesota's been actually having a decent year this year. They beat Green Bay 2 weeks ago. They beat the Chargers as well. Lost overtime against the Baltimore Ravens, a game they should have won. They lost to the Cowboys, which a game they should have won as well. But they blew it. That's the MO for the Vikings, ladies and gentlemen. They just blow games they should be winning late, as of late. But this team has been decent. I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs or not, but they're going to make a run for it, and they should easily beat the Detroit Lions on Sunday afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Up next, we got the New York Giants taking on the Miami Dolphins. Now, Giants coming off a big win last week against the Philadelphia Eagles. But let's talk about the Dolphins, man. They've won 4 of their last 5 since they lost to the Buffalo Bills. The Miami Dolphins have been on a tear in the NFL this season so far after losing most of their games. I mean, they came bad. They were in a bad spot here. They won 4 of their last 5. They're at least 1-7 at one point. I mean, what can you say? I mean, winning 4 straight is just really good for the Dolphins. Dolphins are on a roll. They finally got their defense clicking. The offense is kind of getting back in the groove here of things as well. They completely destroyed the Carolina Panthers 33-10 last week. What do I say about the Dolphins? Or 2 weeks ago, sorry, not last week. Was that last week? Oh, it was last week. Huh. Interesting. But yeah, they completely destroyed the Carolina Panthers. Cam Newton's, big playing right there. They completely destroyed they wiped the floor with the Jets. They wiped the floor with the Baltimore Ravens of all teams. They beat the Houston Texans. I mean, the Dolphins are on a winning streak, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot look past the Dolphins this year. Dolphins are finally getting it together after losing to the Bills twice. So I'm taking Miami actually to beat the New York Giants. I don't think this is going to be a hard game at all for Miami to win. And yeah, I'm taking Miami to beat the Giants easily. So up next, we got the Colts at the Houston Texans. The Colts losing last week to the Buccaneers. I said Patriots. Tom Brady's Patriot player, right? Still, that still makes sense, right? Texans lost last week to the Jets. There is no excuse for the Colts to lose this game to the Houston Texans. The Colts should easily win this game against Houston. Jonathan Taylor should have a good day. Texans are just not that good, ladies and gentlemen. I don't see anything really changing anytime soon for the Texans. I mean, Tyrod Taylor's the only bright spot, if we're being honest with you guys. The Colts need this win as well. If they lose this game, I think their season will be over if they lose to the Houston Texans. Again, wildcard spots are hard to get for any team in the AFC this year. You cannot afford to lose games against Houston, against the Jaguars, against the Jets. If you have a chance to make the playoffs, you have to win those games, and that's why I'm picking the Colts to beat the Houston Texans. Up next, we got the Philadelphia Eagles at the New York Jets. This is going to be an interesting game. I think both teams are actually due for a win here. I don't think either team is going to make the playoffs this year. Eagles have the advantage here against the Jets. What can I say really about Jalen Hurts? Last week, just not a good game or good performance by Jalen Hurts against the New York Giants. The Giants completely wiping the floor with them. But the Jets' big win against the Houston Texans, I mean, that was a sloppy win to say the least. Zach Wilson didn't look the best, but a win's a win, right? So I'm taking the Eagles to beat the Jets. I can't take the Jets. I don't trust the Jets to actually get the job done against Philadelphia. That team is abysmal right now, and they're just atrocious. Like I said, there's a reason why I put them in the same category as the Houston Texans and the Jacksonville Jaguars for the AFC. They're like the Detroit Lions to me. Only they have 3 wins at least this season. But that's why I'm taking the Eagles. I just don't trust the Jets to really do anything against the Eagles this week. So that's why I'm taking the Jets. As you can see, I'm going through mostly more faster this week because I figured there's some games where, like let me just say this, Atlanta against Tampa Bay, for example. I mean, you guys don't want me to go through, like, maybe 20 to 30 minutes with Atlanta and Tampa Bay, right? You guys don't want to see me, like, talk about the Bears taking on the Arizona Cardinals, a game that's not going to be close. Might as well just skip through it real quickly and get to games that actually matter. Like, I think this game right here matters, and it's actually going to be an interesting, really good contest. It's the Washington football team at the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, the Raiders coming off a big win on Thanksgiving against the Dallas Cowboys. However, in their last 5 games, they lost 3 in a row before beating the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. The Washington football team have gotten the job done in the last 3 games that they've played. They beat the Buccaneers, they beat the Carolina Panthers, and they've beaten the Seattle Seahawks. This is a must-win game for both teams. Washington is ranked currently in the 7th seed of the playoffs right now, and I'm going to make sure that is actually correct, and I'm not actually joking about it. Yes, they are ranked 7th in the playoffs right now. Washington could be in, if the NFL ended today, Washington would be the 7th seed in the NFC. So, Washington has a lot to ride here, too. Both teams want playoff spots. As for Vegas, they're looking into the playoff spot. They're in ranked 8th, but the Chargers they're right behind the Chargers and the Bills and the Bengals. Both teams need a win. I'm taking a team that I think is going to keep momentum going, and that is Washington. I think Washington has been playing a real good football over the last 3 weeks. They beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's not an easy contest to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's not easy to beat Seattle, especially if you're supposed to be a low budget team, really. I mean, you gotta give the team credit for winning these last three games and having momentum on their side. As for the Raiders, I still think they got basically handed and gift handed a win against the Cowboys. I just don't see it, really. I don't think the Raiders are that good of a team. So I'm taking Washington to beat the Raiders. Now, this is my actual upset of the week this week as well. I have to start taking an upset as well this week, and I figured, you know what? I think Washington has the best chance to upset many people in this series. So I'm taking Washington over the Raiders. Up next, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars going into Los Angeles to take on the Rams. The last three games for the Rams, they lost to the Tennessee Titans. Then they lost to the San Francisco 49ers. And then another loss to Green Bay last week. LA, you have no excuse to actually lose to the Jaguars this week. You need to break that losing streak, and you need to win this game against Jacksonville. If you lose to Jacksonville, we might have to pencil you out of the playoffs in general as being a legit contender for the Super Bowl, in my opinion. The Rams won't actually, if they lose to the Jaguars, I don't think they'll actually get dropped out of the playoff race. Actually, they might, looking at it right now. But we'll see later on. We'll see how the Rams do later on. But right now, the Rams need this win against the Jaguars. I don't see them having any reason to lose to Jacksonville. And listen to these last 5 games after Jacksonville, if they do lose this game. Then next week on Monday Night Football, they take on the Arizona Cardinals. We just said Arizona's a really good team. Arizona is going to be a tough game for the Rams to win again, to beat against. Then they go into Seattle. Now, Seattle hasn't been having a great season this year, but in division rivalries, it usually is a close contest, and that could be a upset alert for Seattle to beat the Rams. Then into Minnesota, I think Minnesota's an easy game for the Rams to win. Then Baltimore, which Baltimore right now is probably one of the best teams in the AFC. And then San Francisco, who they just lost to 2 weeks ago. As you can see, these are going to be tough, hard games for the Rams to win. So they need this win against Jacksonville this week to stay vigilant, really, if we're being honest with you guys. They need to win this week. So, yeah, I'm taking the Rams to beat the Jaguars. I don't think the Rams will have a bad week this week. I actually predict them to actually destroy the Jaguars tenfold. I don't think it's going to be even a close contest. Up next, we got the Baltimore Ravens at the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers, man, last 3 games, tied to the Detroit Lions, lost to the Chargers, lost to the Bengals, barely beaten Chicago. The Ravens have the best record in the AFC, but have not been playing like it. They've been closely beaten teams like the Cleveland Browns, like the Chicago Bears. They won in overtime against the Minnesota Vikings, and they somehow lost to the Dolphins and Bengals. This, I think, is going to be a very close contest for both teams with division rivalries on the line here in Pittsburgh. And I wouldn't be surprised if people took the Steelers to beat the Baltimore Ravens. I think that is actually a fair exception to actually take. Only for the fact that I think the Ravens and Steelers, I mean, that's a division rivalry, man, that's been going on for a while, built off of very much respect between both teams. But the Pittsburgh Steelers this year is not a tough team to really beat. So I'm going to take the Baltimore Ravens to beat the Steelers easily here on Sunday. I don't really see the Steelers having that much firepower after losing last week to the Cincinnati Bengals in the way that they did. Like, even if they lost in a close contest right, to the Cincinnati Bengals, I mean, they still have some momentum going into it, right? They still have something to actually look forward to. But this week, I mean, they just completely got well upped on it. It's going to be a tough contest, but I'm taking the Ravens over the Steelers. Up next, our last Sunday afternoon game, or evening game. The San Francisco 49ers going to Seattle, take on the Seattle Seahawks. Division rivalry game. The Seahawks have not looked good this season. 3-8 this season. The Niners have a playoff spot right now in their hands. They are currently the 6th seed for the NFC. Give me the Niners to beat the Seahawks. I don't think this is going to be much of a contest either. The Seahawks have not looked good at all this season. It's been looking really bad for Seattle, and they've lost Chris Carson's. Russell Wilson's kind of still nursing his injury. Last 5 games, they've lost 4 of their last 5 games, have the Seattle Seahawks, and the Niners have won 4 of the last 5 games. So I think the Niners have most of the advantage going into this game against Seattle, with a 3-game winning streak on the line here for the Ravens, or for the Niners, and a 3-game losing streak for the Seahawks. Give me the Niners to beat the Seahawks here in Seattle. Up next, we got Sunday football as we got the Denver Broncos going into Kansas City to take on the Kansas City Chiefs in a game that is going to be very interesting. The Chiefs have finally found a way to lit up the teams, found a way to actually, not lit up teams, but like win against teams, really, if we're being honest here. The defense has finally stepped up. They haven't allowed a team to actually hit 20 points ever since the loss to Tennessee. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a close contest here. I think the Denver Broncos actually match up pretty well to the Kansas City Chiefs this season compared to last. Every team in the AFC West is actually positive right now in the standings, and this is going to be a game to decide if the Denver Broncos are actually legit or not, really, if we're being honest here. The Chiefs are getting back in the groove here, winning their last 4 straight. I'm taking the Chiefs to beat the Denver Broncos. Now, this could be a big win for the Broncos if they can beat Kansas City. This would be a monumental win. This will bring Kansas City back down to everyone's level, down to 7-5. And if the Vegas Raiders and the Chargers all win, all teams here in the AFC West will be 7-5, and that division will be wide open for anyone's taking. However, I just don't see this really happening for the Denver Broncos taking on a team like Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes, man. That's all I gotta say about this game. Patrick Mahomes just still one of the best top quarterbacks in the NFL. And if Andy Reid actually has his team playing right again, I don't see Denver really having much of a chance against Kansas City. So I'm taking the Chiefs over the Denver Broncos. Last but not least, and this is actually kind of interesting, that they have a matchup predictor here for the Bills and New England Patriots, and they actually have Bills winning by 64%. I don't think that's actually very accurate, because I think the Patriots are actually a dangerous more team than what people realize. So let's talk about the Patriots at the Bills. I have the Bills shirt on, I have a Bills hat on. I'm going to be unbiased while talking about this game, so I'm going to take the hat off real quickly. This is a game that Buffalo needs to win in general. If they want a chance to win, if they want a chance to make the playoffs this year, they need to win this game against the Patriots. If they lose, I can see them actually not making the playoffs this year. This is a big, big game for both teams. This is going to decide if the Patriots keep the division or if Buffalo shows they still have a fight left in them to actually make it a contest. Now, notice how I said this. Patriots, if they win, they won the division. If the Bills win, it's a toss-up. And I believe this truly. If the Patriots win this game, Buffalo next week, while Patriots are on bye week, they go into Tampa Bay to take on the Buccaneers. And even as a Bills fan, I gotta say, like, honestly, I don't see the Bills winning that game. That's 2 games the Bills lose to where the Patriots have a lead over the Bills in the division. And then Buffalo has to go back. And then Buffalo at home will take on the Panthers. That could be a win. But then the Patriots have to take on the Colts, who could be a challenge for the Patriots, But the Patriots are coming off a bye week, and I don't trust the Colts to beat the Patriots without Belichick, with Belichick after a bye week. So Patriots should win that game. And then in New England, I don't see Buffalo having a shot at winning the division if they lose this game on Monday Night Football in Buffalo. So I gotta take the Bill. I'm gonna take the Bills regardless, even if I thought the Patriots actually stood a chance. But I'm gonna realistically take the Bills to beat the Patriots here on Monday night because I think the Bills need this game more. Now let's not get it twisted. Patriots, last 5 games, won them all straight. The Bills have been looking crusty this season as of late, losing to Indy and losing to Jacksonville. Keeping up with teams. I mean, they beat the Saints. They completely dominated the Saints, by the way. Just saying. But they had ugly wins against the Dolphins and against the Jets. Buffalo hasn't looked very consistent lately. It has to be changed tonight against the Patriots. Buffalo needs to win this game. Corey Ford's questionable play for Buffalo. Tommy Doyle's actually out. Offensive tackle. I don't even know who Tommy Doyle is. John Feliciano is coming off injured reserves. Buffalo did lose Tre'Davious White. He did tore his ACL in that game against the Saints. Yeah. But I can see Buffalo winning this game and then it being a toss-up in the New England if the Bills take on the Patriots. Now, if the Patriots somehow lose to the Colts and lose... I don't even know who else they're playing against. Let me find out the schedule. Jacksonville, Miami. So if they lose to the Colts somehow, and Buffalo wins this game on Monday night, that is a big story for the game in New England against Buffalo. And I think that game in New England is going to be a lot bigger story for both teams than what we realize right now. But I think if New England does beat Buffalo, I think that the division's completely over with, and New England will actually win the division easily if they beat Buffalo. But if Buffalo win against New England, then it's a toss-up because I don't know how Buffalo's going to play against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If Buffalo somehow wins this game and then wins against Tampa Bay, we might have a story on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. This might be a very interesting division race, just to be honest with you, because Buffalo have a 1-game over edge against the Patriots, where the Patriots will have to win against the Bills in New England, and then also beat the Jaguars and I believe the Miami Dolphins to win the division. Now, in the playoff seeding, does it say why New England's on top? No, it doesn't. Okay. But I want to see what would happen if New England and Buffalo... I kind of want to get a prediction, a playoff thing, to see what would happen if Buffalo beat New England, and then New England beats Buffalo in New England. I think, because that would be kind of interesting to look at and see how it goes for both teams. But yeah, I'm taking Buffalo over New England, but that was obviously a given. I think Buffalo's pass rush needs to be fixed as well. Their pass rush has been abysmal this season. Buffalo's offensive line finally coming back as well. We got back our Spencer Brown, so we don't have to have Cody Ford on the field at all. So that should help the Bills actually beat the Patriots. That should help the Bills stop. I shouldn't say beat. Stop the Patriots' pass rush, hopefully. I know the Patriots have a really good defense this year. They have a really good defense, but so does Buffalo. People keep forgetting how good Buffalo's defense actually is. Yards allowed for the defense. Buffalo has allowed less yards than New England has this season. Less passing yards than New England, and less rushing yards. No one talks about it. Everyone just talks about New England's defense. I wonder why. I also think Buffalo is actually going to benefit off of people taking New England over them, because Buffalo's a little bit better when people actually doubt them. This team is really built on a team that thrives off of people doubting them. And this season, we've seen it. Like, this season, when people actually don't doubt them and think they're like the best team in the AFC, they completely let it get over their heads. And that's what happens. But yeah, I'm thinking Buffalo over New England, because I think Buffalo needs us to win more. I think the game in New England, if Buffalo does beat New England in Buffalo, I think that game in New England will be a lot more bigger than what people realize. I think that will be the game of the year. This game should be a great contest, though, to actually get us pumped up for Buffalo against New England in New England coming up in later on in December. So yeah, that is all my predictions this week. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to really say. That's it for this week's predictions. I guess I'll see you next week on week 14, or I'll see you in a Buffalo Bills reaction video. Maybe I'll do a reaction video if Buffalo loses to the Patriots. Maybe if I'll do a reaction video if they beat the Patriots. If I do that reaction video, I'll do it sometime the same night because I'll be going to the Monday Night Football game. I'll be in the stadium itself to see the Bills taking on the Patriots. Um, yeah, so take it as you will. But it'll be up on next Tuesday after the game. Or next Tuesday, maybe when you wake up or at night, probably. So thank you guys. Have a good day. And thank you for watching.